The media were purring after Bournemouth's superb win over Manchester City. Players were being compared to Marco Van Basten. Cherries fans were being invited on to podcasts and radio shows to share their joy. Jamie Carragher was on MNF doing tactical breakdowns. But above all, people outside of a BH postcode have finally seen what Andoni Iraola is doing at Vitality Stadium. So, have AFC Bournemouth finally arrived? Is this a turning point or a pivotal moment? Let's chat about it. This is Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
Turning point's probably the wrong phrase, mate, because we're on an upward trajectory. We definitely haven't turned back. It just seems to be a pivotal moment whereby people are now finally realising what AFC Bournemouth are all about, because we fly under the radar quite a lot. Now we are not that.
No, they're statement results, aren't they? I think that's what it is. They're results against the big boys that get spoken about regardless because of who they are. So when you beat them, you're suddenly in the limelight a lot more. But yeah, I think the most impressive thing is that all three of them results, we've deserved them results. We've been really, really good. All the underlying metrics suggest that as well. We've enjoyed what we've seen virtually since Iraola walked through the door. But it just feels like them little bits that we're missing are just starting to kick into gear now, which is really good to see. And well done to you, because you predicted it, mate. A little 2-1. You predicted that, and you were legit about it as well. And I was like, oh, grow up.
I had to. And look, it's not just the media. Manchester City themselves, managers, players, have all been commenting how good we are. And in this show, we're going to spend about half an hour just to go over what people are saying. Now, first article that we're going to look at is Allison RD in The Times. She did a really good piece earlier in the week going over Andoni's training. But this time she had a chat with Carl Walker, who said it was tough. Bournemouth over the last couple of seasons with their manager, they've definitely got a bit of a philosophy now. Later on in the article, she says, if Andoni Iraola has an ego, then is buried out at sea, and yet everything and everyone is working hard to ensure his philosophy of brave, intense football can yield results. But how can all this be possible? Bournemouth did not get lucky against Pep Guardiola's team. They intimidated with a feisty press and then defended when they needed to defend. They played with expression and confidence and even a touch of panache, but are ranked 15th in terms of the Premier League wage bill and play, for now at least, in the smallest stadium in the Premier League. Mate, we are making articles like that in the Times, but she's right. She's realising what we're doing here, and it's that feisty press that's being talked about absolutely everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, the intensity of it, as you say, that press is just so impressive. But yeah, I think what was weird in that game was the City game in particular was just like, we're bullying them here. And every time we've played City, I've always used the term, I look like men v boys, but normally the other way. But that's how it felt for large parts. Yes, they have a little bit of quality, so it means they stay in the game and give us a little bit of a hairy moment at the end, of course. But yeah, for the large part of it, we bossed them all over the pitch. And yeah, the aggressive nature to the way we play is just so exciting to watch, and we're starting to reap the rewards. I mean, we have along the way, as you mentioned, but yeah, these statement results are no more than we deserve.
And you're talking about the press, which was focused on by Jamie Carragher in front of the big screen. He was with Dimitar Berbatov, wasn't he? And he was talking about the press and just picking out a few moments where we picked our moments. But he talked about this. What is it, a cage as well?
Yeah.
Talk to me about what he was saying, because it was all very technical, lots of graphics.
Yeah, it's kind of been looked at as a bit of like a hybrid press, isn't it? And yeah, like you say, he was like kind of showing the cages around players that just so they smother them and they stop off all them little pockets that City want to get. But yeah, there was times where, whether it be, Tavernier, where you'd think he'd be on the full back from his position, he'd going in at the centre half, and they're all coming in as one. There was one clip he showed, and I think they beat the first part, and then so Senesi jumps and he's Sunday, because you can't leave Bernardo Silva, so Senesi is then in there, and you think, Jesus, you're just leaving Haaland one-on-one with but that's the kind of bravery, and we've seen in moments this season and previously under Iraola, trying to play that way, you can get caught. But they just seem, I think it's as simple as we're getting better at it. We're getting better at it, and yeah, teams are struggling to cope, and the energy of our players is through the roof, and that's why, as we've spoken about so many times, he doesn't concentrate on the 11 so much, because he needs the subs as well. Because the amount of energy they're exhausted into it means you have to make the changes. So the City game, what also impressed me is we lost a lot of our finishers in terms of Sinisterra, Alex Scott, Dango, and we still kept it going.
We absolutely did. So we've heard from Carl Walker. What about Bernardo Silva on City's loss at Bournemouth? He said they were just better than us. They just put more intensity into the game. They won all the duels. They had more determination. They were better in all departments. Well done from you, Bernardo. What about Pep Guardiola as well? He said, and this is a clip from Tom Latcham that he clipped up on X, sometimes you handle it, sometimes you struggle a little bit, and today it happened. So congratulations to Bournemouth for the game that they played. We couldn't handle the intensity they had, and that's why we lost. We struggled to make our build-up, but the rhythm, or probably rhythm, as a lot of them say, they put in, for many reasons, they were higher than us, and we could not handle it. After that, we had to defend deeper, and we could not deal with that. A big factor was some of the counter-attacks from Bournemouth. Sometimes the opponents are better, so we have to accept it. That is some praise from Pep Guardiola, and it sounds like he actually appreciates a team that have actually played them, not skanked it, not part of the bus, but have actually out-footballed. And I think Matt Davies actually said we out-cityed City.
Yeah, no, definitely. And there was that clip that Bournemouth did, didn't they, about us keeping the ball and ONeal and stuff. I remember...
We didn't go anywhere with it, but it was just not to watch.
I remember previously when we kind of first come to the Premier League, and obviously Eddie would always try and have a bit of a go, and I remember Pep kind of praising that a few times, but we were kind of like, yeah, but we're not getting the results. So it's nice to still be praised. And yeah, I think Man City in particular, and other teams as well, but he probably gets so frustrated that the only time teams get results off him is because they park the bus and they're just nasty and you think, oh God. And I think he was just kind of like, fair play, because they've done it in that way, which if you actually look back, there's very, very few occasions that a team goes at Man City and gets anything out of it. Yeah. They're very rare. If you see, there's been some good results. I remember Gary got a really good one, didn't he, for Wolves last season. And they done it really well, but it was sit back counter. And that made sense and it worked to perfection on the day. But it's very rare for a team to just go toe to toe and just be better in all departments than them. Yeah. Very rare, man.
Absolutely. What's weird is that we're still chatting about this. This is like Wednesday now. And like Man City played last night in the Champions League. Yeah. So they've moved on. Well, I mean, I say that 4-1 against Sporting. That was absolutely shocking. It's not going to take anything away from what we're doing though, but abject from them. And Erling Haaland missing from the penalty spot. Would you ever see Justin Kluivert do that?
No way.
But you know what? We've been enjoying all of the media that we've been absorbing on social media, on TV, on the radio, and also on podcasts. I was involved on the Totally Football pod with James Richardson of Football Italia fame. He probably hates all the references about him sitting outside an Italian cafe with a cappuccino, a copy of Gazzetta dello Sport with a pastry or whatever. But hopefully I did a relatively good job of representing Cherries fans on that. But also today on Spotify, people can watch and listen to you on The Ripple Effect with James Alcott, mate. Yes. How did that go when you recorded that? What was that all about? What kind of questions did he ask you?
Yeah, it was nice. James, they were on The Ripple Effect kind of going into players and teams like they're good, but are they good? That kind of saying that he uses a lot. So obviously it was fitting that Bournemouth were mentioning that. And he was talking about Iraola already in the style and how he's kept playing that way, but why is it changing now? Why are the results coming? Spoke a bit about Evan Nilsson and what he's bringing and how like Semenyo seems to have come out of nowhere and went into a lot of little bits, which was nice, mate. And I did say to him, it's nice to feel a bit relevant for a week, isn't it, Bournemouth fans? It is bizarre, so we're milking it. These last 3 games, we've got to soak it in, mate, because if we ever had a little few weeks like this, I don't think we have. So got to enjoy it, mate. Ready to lose at Brentford probably. That'd be the most Bournemouth thing to do. But no, if you can't enjoy it and be positive now, then when can you?
The Guardian's John Bruin, moving on to what he said. How did it happen? He said, the answer, vigour and proficiency in defence, midfield and attack. Plus a fine display from the standing goalkeeper, Mark Travers. Carragher made a last man block when Bernardo Silva had the goal gaping before Bournemouth saw out the first half with an almost endless sequence of passes. Few teams dominate City in such a fashion. Now, I'm glad that John Bruin here mentioned Mark Travers. He's called him a stand-in goalkeeper. And look, we've spoke about Carragher, we've spoke about Semenyo, and it's something that you also wanted to highlight on the BBC in the week as well, where you waxed lyrical, and I've said that phrase on many a podcast recently, about Mark Travers, because we do need to talk about him, right?
We do, mate. It's a really weird one. Yeah, like you say, I kind of used that for the BBC, as you say, we spoke about Semenyo and other bits, and he deserves to be highlighted because this guy's just come through the ranks, a backup goalkeeper, had loans at Swindon and Stoke and done well, but he's never really been spoken about. And then every time he comes in, he's pretty faultless. And we're getting to a point now where we go, something's got to be done here. We either say, you're good enough, we're going to put that trust in you. Or he needs to, I've said this before, but he needs to bang on the door and go, let me go, because he cannot be sat on a bench for much longer. The bloke just comes in and I just feel so calm. He should be a bit shaky. Like, you've lost the most expensive goalkeeper in world football through an injury. You should be thinking, oh God, we've got a goalkeeper who's only ever played for Weymouth, Swindon, and he just comes in and he's just brilliant.
Are we in almost like a Raya Ramsdale situation here? Because when those two were, it was almost like they were switching every week. Arteta was playing one, and then the other playing one, and then eventually he realised, okay, Raya's the man. How does he keep? Because obviously, Chelsea will want their keeper to be playing.
Yes.
Mark Travers also wants to get games, and we can't not play Travers based on the form that he's shown. How do you keep these two happy?
It's very difficult with a goalkeeper, like you say. It's very difficult.
Shame we haven't got a cup competition.
Yeah, it's and like you said, mate, with the Arsenal one, it was almost like they tried to do it where they've done it like an outfield and just rotated. But quite quickly with a goalkeeper, you find out who your number one is. I know Brighton have done it a fair bit as well. Did it under De Zerbi with Steele and Verbruggen, I remember. But yeah, quite quickly you realise who the number one is. I think the issue that's probably more than just being a good goalkeeper is the fact that this goalkeeper's on loan in terms of Kepa. And if we, rightly so, in my opinion, kind of say Travers is your shirt to lose and he keeps performing like this, we're going to get to January and Chelsea are going to go, we'll have him back and send him on loan somewhere else. And then suddenly we're panicking because we need another goalkeeper potentially. So it'll be really interesting to see what we do. But there could be a lot more issues than having two good goalkeepers. So I'm sure we'll work it out, mate. And whatever happens with Travers going forward, and if he were to end up leaving and stuff, I'll say that every single time. People forget about that season under Scott Parker as well when we go in the Championship. Yeah. Whenever he's been called upon, it'd be easy to just sulk on the bench. It never seems to. He just comes in, he's brilliant, and love him. But in fairness, as much as it's been a very small sample size, I felt a lot comfortable with Kepa as well. So I think we've got two really good goalkeepers. And what I will say about Trav is I've always felt he's going to lead to Kepa because of his distribution. But I thought against City, his distribution was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent.
So that's something that maybe is being coached as well on the side. So one to watch for sure, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really good, actually, to get some glowing praise from Asmir Begovic on the goalkeeping situation on Sky Sports News recently as well. He was specifically lauding Mark Travers, also the day-to-day work of Neil Moss, but also the whole goalkeeping department as a whole. And based on the goalkeepers that we've got sort of for the future, Alex Poulsen, Callum McKenna, Will Dennis is brilliant as well. We seem to be in a good place in that department.
Yeah, we do. We obviously know the situation with Neto at the moment, but we already knew obviously his age. So I think they've planned a little bit of forward thinking there with getting some young goalkeepers in. McKenna's doing well, development squad, but obviously it's a big jump to playing kind of first team football. And Paulson, obviously in a league that I don't know much about, is putting up trees there. Yeah. So signs are positive in that sense, mate. And it'll be really interesting to see what we do come the end of the season, and see where we're at that point, because we'll still have Neto on the books. Kepa will probably be going back regardless. Then we go, okay, what's happening with Travers? What's happening with Dennis? We got a goalkeeper out on loan. What are we doing there? I just miss Radu.
Of course you do.
And by the way, Darren Radcliffe is no longer here, by the way. I know he's doing what he was doing when he was here, but he is no longer here.
Hallelujah. Zeko on YouTube has come up with a tactical breakdown of AFC Bournemouth's performance. And in the video, he says, if you support a Premier League side and you believe a game against Bournemouth could be a bit easy, then you're in for a big, big shock, because Bournemouth are arguably one of the most difficult opponents to play against in the league this season. He also talks about something that we alluded to last week, where sometimes Semenyo and Ouattara at the time, that was against Aston Villa, sometimes maybe switch flanks in order to condense the play.
Yeah.
And you could see an example on that where Nathan Ake, inside the first or second minute, was running across the pitch in a uncustomary type of run for Nathan Ake, really, maybe, but Semenyo was right on it, almost on the centre spot.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he did manage to get a nick on the ball, 3 people straight away. Really, really good. He says, guys, Bournemouth are a phenomenon. They are brilliant at the moment, and the intensity that they play with can take teams by storm. Can we keep this kind of intensity up, though, throughout the season, though, mate?
I mean, they'll be tired, but yeah, I'd like to think so. And as you said, we've got players to come back. I think what he does really well is how he uses the squad, because there's so many games, and we've spoken about it so many times with the 11, but where you suddenly go, oh, like I think it was a Villa, oh, Tav's out. He's switched Tav for, you know what I mean? And okay, he's playing Scott today. Oh, he's playing Clive, but now he's not playing Clive. Because I just think what you never see, this is in any team, obviously, from a fan's perspective, is you don't see the week in training. You don't know what the fatigue and energy levels are like. And he will know that more than anyone. I'm sure he talks with his medical and physio staff as well. But to keep that energy there, I mean, I'm not being funny, but the way he was playing, you go, the last thing you want, if you were a neutral watching that Bournemouth City game, you go, you can't take Christie off.
No.
But he knows the time to go, no, Christie's done now. Tyler Adams was brilliant. So that's someone, hopefully, fingers crossed, if he stays fit, could be like a new signing as well.
Yeah.
And that could maybe stop the burden on your Christie more so, but even Lewis Cook. And what he's done as well, which I don't think a lot of people have spoken about, he's taken a bit of a burden off Kluivert by suddenly making Tav be able to play that position.
Yeah.
Tav never played there before, and he's doing it under the radar a little bit, but fine, you don't really notice when Kluivert's moved out of there and Tav has to go in there. Dan got to come back. We haven't really seen much of City this season, apart from a last gasp winner. So yeah, the way he uses the squad is why I've got that hope that we can keep it up. And yeah, it's just, we still got the January window, we can get a few back as well. It's it's exciting, mate. But yeah, the energy levels, I mean, you can't even blink sometimes. Just so much is happening. It's so fun.
The use of the squad and the substitutes really does impress me. And of course, we had that stat that we mentioned on the second look before the Man City game. Out of our 11 goals this season, 8 of them have come from substitutions, either via assists or goals as well. And also we know the average time of the goal, a Bournemouth goal was in and around 63 minutes. It would have been enhanced, of course, after that Aston Villa game, of course. So it shows the importance of subs, but with the lack of impactful subs, I made this point again on the second look. Obviously, we would usually revert to either bringing on Ouattara or Kluivert if he's on the bench, or Cini, whoever, players that we know can have impact. I would say the players that we had to utilise have minimal impact at that Man City game. In Tyler Adams, it was a like-for-like, almost replacement. David Brooks coming on as well. If anything, probably made us a little bit weaker, and that's no disrespect for David Brooks.
Just lost a bit of pace.
He hasn't had the minutes.
Same with ONeal.
So I just think, was his approach different? Do you remember that Southampton game at home? We knew that on paper they were poor. They had a lot of the ball. They didn't do much. But we sort of let them have it for a bit. It's like, you know what? We don't need to start hard and fast. But against Man City, because we didn't have the impact then on the bench, I think maybe he thought, let's go from the off. Let's play full throttle from the very, very beginning. And it worked. It
worked, mate. Yeah, because I think I kind of mentioned that before the game that I thought he might use Adams and put Christie higher up and be a little bit more compact in there. But obviously what he decided to do was go with Kluivert and go with that high intensity at the start, knowing Adams is there. So yeah, worked a treat, mate. It really did. And yeah, the way he makes the subs is just, it just seems to always work. It's just, it's really strange how it just always seems to just work perfectly for us. And they're all making little impacts at every point of the game. And yeah, just honestly, just so exciting. And yeah, the energy levels are incredible from the group.
So who else noticed it? The Guardian Football Weekly, Max Rushton and Barry Glendenning, they said these opposition teams aren't usually so good, but Bournemouth really were. They were brilliant and they could have got more. They deserved more. They went on to say the few Man City players that did play probably wish they hadn't. And that includes Kyle Walker, who got the most almighty roasting by Antoine Semenyo. Oh dear, is what they said.
I like Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker, I mean, actually, if I think about it now very, very quickly, and you talk about them, I think it was like 91 in it when the Premier League officially starts, and people sometimes do that. Best 11 in the Premier League era. Gary Neville probably normally gets the right back spot. Yeah. I think some people talk about Zabaleta maybe, Lee Dixon sometimes. But Kyle Walker's in the conversation, obviously Trent as well, but Kyle Walker is well in that chat. So it shows how good he's been for so many years and always been bloody brilliant for England, by the way. So I like Kyle Walker. I've never seen the guy have that many problems. I don't think it felt like, I really felt sorry for him because there was a few people clipping up, which you would do. He's at Man City, like Kyle Walker disaster class and stuff. But I think what you've got to look at is yes, he had a bad game, but maybe give the credit to Antoine because this ain't the first fullback he's roasted. It'll be really, really intriguing. We'll do it when we talk about the Brentford preview. I watched the Brentford game on Monday night. The right back had an absolute mare. And I just thinking, hello. But yeah, Antoine absolutely destroyed him, mate. And I felt for Cole, but Kyle Walker's probably one of the quickest, one of the most defensively astute, quick, experienced fullbacks in the league. And Antoine Semenyo literally tooled him inside out. The guy is just unbelievable. And I only looked the other day, I thought, how old? He's only 24, Semenyo.
Yeah. He's got a lot of years ahead of him.
Ballon
I cannot wait. And what's crazy about this is that we haven't mentioned our most expensive player. And Evan Nilsson loved singing that in front of Noel Gallagher. Should have had more of it, really. However, by the way, Mazala Prince, Vizé has got a print up and running for it. So check out their website to celebrate our historic win. There's going to be a link below, so do check that out. Top from him. On to Matt Stead from Football 365. I really liked reading this article. He said, this, talking about Bournemouth, is incredible, scalable, achievable progress. Bournemouth have done nothing particularly groundbreaking beyond making brave decisions and capitalising on where it puts them each time. It is a while since the be careful what you wish for warnings. Comparisons with Gary O'Neill and Wolves feel hilariously irrelevant and outdated, not 18 months since that controversial switch was made. They've recruited consistently wisely, operated on a sensible and sustainable budget, quietly identified areas which can be improved, and found a wonderful coach suited to the existing squad and willing to work with and develop players rather than insisting his own must be bought first. And that's true, isn't it? And look, we don't want to make this a Gary O'Neill pylon by any stretch of the imagination at all. But it is weird how the media were completely all over Andoni Iraola after the start of that run last season. They really were. People were calling for his head. You didn't have that with Gary O'Neill.
No, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I've said before that I think a lot of it is to do with the fact that a lot of them will know him through coaching badges and stuff, which I appreciate. And it's whether it's their mate or not, you know what I'm trying to say. I always felt like Lampard and Gerrard kind of got a little bit away with it as well. And they're all kind of similar ages to you. Carragher, Shearer's, Neville's. But yeah, I think, I mean, obviously it's all tongue in cheek, it's football and it's all a bit of banter and all a laugh. But deep down, I remember Iraola barely stepping foot in, didn't have his assistant, came in and we had a tough start and he was getting ridiculed. But it was also the fact that I felt it was fine for all these, people to, you know, Gary Lineker, Richard Keys, Alan Shearer, whatever, to kind of be really disrespectful to the decision makers at AFC Bournemouth, ridiculing them, saying it was a disgusting decision, scandalous. And then when it turns out, which I think it's fair to say they were wrong, I haven't seen any of them backtrack and say, I was bloody wrong about that. And I just that doesn't sit nicely with me. They know that their comments and their voice is heard far and wide because of who they are and what kind of networks they're on. And it just, I don't like the fact that they can just say what they want, make these massive statements that are really disrespectful to a football club, and then when they're wrong, just go quiet.
Do you think it's because in the grand scheme of statements they make about every Premier League club, they've probably forgotten what they've even said about Bournemouth?
We try and remind them, though. We do try and remind them. But and that's what we could do, have a bit of a laugh about it. Yeah, and listen, deep down, who cares? You know, we're the ones kind of laughing now. And that's not even, you know, I like to have a joke about it, but that's not even to do with kind of the situation at Wolves of Gary O'Neill now. I think it's more to do with the fact that they identified a coach that not many knew about. And, you know, fair play to him because it's working a treat. And not many will know this, not many will be watching this probably, but people from the outside don't even know. We never got that assistant, by the way. Andoni never got him. We've got two of our old defenders in there. But yeah, it's all working out really well. So it's nice when you make him eat humble pie a little bit. But yeah, I think Andoni, what I really like about him as well, away from the coaching side, is he never really kind of had a dig about it, never really got sharp-tongued about it. He's just kind of sat back and done his work. And I was saying to this on the ripple effect with Alcott that it's weird that I don't actually think there's a massive difference to when he first come in and the way we're playing. He's continued that philosophy. We've just got better at it.
Yeah.
And the players, I think, have just kind of bought into it more. When you start and you play a new philosophy and you don't get a few results, you must doubt it.
Yeah.
And then when a few results, I always go back to that kind of Palace Man U week. And I wonder if there was part of them players going, oh, if we play like this and we get it right, God, we can hurt teams. We can go to Old Trafford and get 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, all of it's just coming together, mate. And as you say, the recruitment and the signings, absolutely outrageous.
Now, Matt, in his Football 365 article, continues and says, Bournemouth conquered the reigning champions and their best players on the day were signed from Dynamo Kiev, Feyenoord, AZ Alkmaar, Celtic and Bristol City, brought together by a manager from Rayo Vallecano who inherited 8 of that starting 11. It's no coincidence that Iraola's last season in La Liga featured home wins over Barcelona and Real Madrid. And it's so weird, mate, because when we looked at, I remember us doing the live show when Gary Neal was sacked, and then Iraola came in and we were reading his Wikipedia page, we were reading some early opinions, and people were saying he'll get some statement results.
Yeah.
You sort of don't...
I forgot about it.
You sort of, you forget about it, and then it happens.
Yeah. I literally, until you said it then, I thought, oh yeah, I remember everyone talking about the fact that he beat Barcelona around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do wonder if a lot of that is, we mentioned it earlier about how normally if you get a result against them teams and you're a team like Bournemouth, you soak it up and you get a little bit of fortune and you have to have one of them days and you defend well, blah, blah, blah. And I do wonder if the reason this Iraola style gets statement results is it's such you're catching the opposition so cold. They don't expect that.
Yeah.
Man City do not expect to go to Bournemouth and have them all over them like that.
No, that's
it's
right.
so unexpected. So I wonder if it is a lot of that. But yeah, considering he's been at Rayo Vallecano and Bournemouth and beaten Man City, Arsenal, Real Madrid and Barcelona, quite impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love him. I really do love him.
And you know what? You probably love Troy Deeney.
No, I don't.
All right, okay. Well, look,
I'm not happy with this.
We were recording our fan cams, and I was with Lucy. We were walking back to the car, and there was a bloke in a big coat. He had his hood furry hood, and she said, "That looks like Troy Deeney. I think it's Troy Deeney." I was like, "No, is it?" He was at the game, and it was him. And finally, we've had some players make his team of the week, rightfully so. Adam Smith, fair play. Antoine Semenyo, fair play. Lewis Cook, fair play. You're not happy, though.
How is Milos Kerkez not in that?
2 assists.
And equally, you know how much I love Adam Smith. Adam Smith had a great game. Oina plays both sides, put him at right back. How did Kerkez not get in that team? Come on. Yeah. I haven't seen Ola Aina and how he played. But, and Forest did do well. But honestly, Milos Kerkez, there's no way he wasn't the best left back at the weekend. Surely. He was absolutely incredible. But yeah, nice to get a few in there. And he had no excuses because he was at the game. Yeah. Do you know who else was at the game, by the way, I heard?
Who?
Ashley Cole, who is now on the England coach. I wonder if he's been sent there from Tuchel. Have a little look at Lewis. And I start, when you kind of look into things a bit, did someone spot him and they were the ones that were doing the man of the match and made sure he got it just to get into, because I felt Lewis Cook always like that. He's always like that. So he was brilliant. But there's no way Kerkez or Semenyo shouldn't have got man of the match. No. And yeah, just part of me, when I saw that they had a coach from England in that game, and don't get me wrong, a lot of it might have been to look at some City players. But really, you're going, I wonder if they were looking at, or even if they were looking at City players, they was soon enough, they were thinking, actually, I might keep an eye on these Bournemouth players.
Is the squad named, or when will it be named?
No, it'll be named. It's named very soon, because it's only next week, and it'll be named soon. But England have always been ones that kind of wait. There's some clubs, so I think, do a preliminary, which I've seen that the Netherlands always seem to do theirs early and then cut it down, and Kluivert's in it again. I did see that. But yeah, we'll be doing it soon, but we'll be interested to see if Lewis in particular is the one that I think he's got to be. It's that position as well for England. Yeah. I think I can't remember, I might have even said it on our Telegram, mate, when I was doing player ratings, but when we were going about Solanke, it was because in my head I thought he should be in over Tony. But from an England perspective, I was like, but it's not going to improve England because Kane's going to play anyway, and Watkins would come on before him anyway. Yeah. It was more of that thing of he should be the third striker. Yeah. Lewis Cook, I genuinely think, from an England fan point of view, helps England. I look at that midfield sometimes, and I think him, Rice and Bellingham. Oh,
that would be...
Bring it home, baby.
And the last piece on this media watch is hello to Steve from the States, who made it onto BBC news. When AFC Bournemouth fans are even influencing the US election. Clive Myrie was in a bar and then he noticed this kind of red and black shirt from afar. He walked up to him. Is that a Bournemouth shirt? Yes, it is. Steve, up the Cherries, he says. Steve, we would love to speak to you on this show. Fair play to you.
It was nice it's nice to see loads of American stuff and Bournemouth shirts out there because we've been there, haven't we?
Have we?
Yeah, we went there before. So, yeah, nice to see. But probably met, don't know. Met loads of Bournemouth fans out there. But yeah, that was nice, mate. I wonder if they might as well elect Iraola, aren't they? I mean, I reckon he could do it.
You know what's really, really bad about this particular show is that basically this is probably the last time we're going to extensively talk about that Man City game because full attention's now on Brentford, mate. We'll talk about them.
Stinks of 2-0 Brentford. No, we got to believe whatever happens, it's been amazing and we're in a really good position, mate. So if we can't enjoy this period, then when can we? And it's nice to be able to take stock. And if we can go to Brentford and keep performing and get a win, then we're just going to go, God, bloody international break. But more time to soak it up.
Exactly.
Got to enjoy it, mate.
We've loved it. You've loved it. The media have loved it. They are purring. Can we get another win at the weekend? Fingers crossed.
Come on.
The Cherries. Come on.
Noel Gallagher didn't enjoy it, did he? Some might say. Did you see Bournemouth do that?
Good. Yeah, I did see that.
Just got to roll with it, mate.
Very good, yeah.